The holiday season. Tons of food, alcohol, politics, family. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we all have this very sort of ideal, picture perfect idea of what the holiday season should be like, and the image of the family sitting around the dinner table in perfect harmony. It doesn't always happen. But how do you avoid that holiday letdown and create an environment where there is conversation around the table and there's a meeting of minds, a meeting of hearts? I've got some ideas to share with you that I hope you'll find inspirational, and how to avoid that holiday letdown and make it a real world experience. My name is Margaret Manning. I'm with 60andMe, and I want to thank you so much for being here today. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are in the world. Now, our show today is brought to you by Easy Spirit. Easy Spirit is a shoe company that's been making fabulous shoes for women for many years, comfortable and stylish. They do believe that comfort is the most important thing and it should be uncomplicated. So check out their website. They've got a lot of shoes, fabulous styles, boots, athletic shoes, comfortable in all widths and sizes. And if you look in the description underneath this video, you will see a promotional code for Easy Spirit, and it will give you a 20% discount off of an Easy Spirit purchase. So let's start talking about the holiday letdown that we often have. We've got all these media images of the beautiful family sitting around the table, children all well behaved, sitting at the table too, eating their food with knives and forks and behaving themselves completely. And of course, we know this isn't true. We've got so many things going on now in our lives, and technology actually is giving us, it's giving us both sides of the coin. One is that people are a little bit obsessed with their phones, and I put my hand up. I'm also enjoy my listening to books and reading email and sending messages, and that can be a really big issue at the holiday table when you're sitting down to have dinner. So some of the suggestions are, and Nicole Christina wrote this great article on this whole topic. Just put them in a basket, like surrender your phones for the whole period of at least for the first part of the dinner, and then have a break. Maybe everybody can have a 10-minute break on their phones to check for that text message that they were absolutely sure they were going to receive. But it's just a matter of prioritizing the family over other things, and making the experience memorable and fun and satisfying. And that's the whole goal of the holiday celebrations, isn't it? Is to actually take the time that maybe you don't get together that often in the year, just to take the time to listen to each other and to understand and to see where that person has been, or the family member or friend that you haven't seen in a while. How you're going to ask the right questions to get the answers that take you deeper. I think that's so important. And as I said, the media tries to trick us into thinking that it should be a certain way. And if it doesn't turn out to be that way, then we are disappointed. We feel guilty. And a lot of women in our community are the ones that do, well, it shouldn't be, but a lot of lead on the cooking and preparation, even the shopping and design, the decor. And if it doesn't go well, you feel like you failed somehow. And it doesn't have to be that way. So I think that Nicole is actually really giving us some good suggestions here. Another thing is kids. Kids will be kids, right? And if you think they're going to sit there and keep perfectly still and keep their little clothes all nice and clean, it isn't going to happen. And that's part of the shifting the expectation. I think that's the thing that is most important. Now, stress is a big part of every gathering, because you've got people and it's like a chemistry experiment, right? Everyone has got their own beliefs, their own values. Hopefully, if you're a family, you've got some threads that hold you together, that you've been in touch throughout the year, or you live close enough to be around all the time. But you've got to have an appreciation that people have different beliefs. They have different perspectives. And, I think it's really important that we've talked about this in a previous video, but it's all about having the ability to say, I don't agree with you on that topic, but your relationship with me as family or friends is more important than being right or wrong. So let's just agree that we don't agree. And that's okay. And then move on to another subject. So she suggests a technique. And I think there's a really good story here to be told. How to get the conversation going so that it's fun and satisfying. So she talks about a book, or it's a deck of cards actually, by Jolene Hill, who's the creator of this thing called Your Life Talks. And it's a card of conversation starters, things that you can ask people to just get the conversation going. And of course, they're open-ended questions, not questions that require, yes or no answers, because that's never going to get you anywhere. Did you have a nice year? No. It kind of stops the conversation, right? And I think that that's one thing that this deck of cards, apparently, I haven't seen the deck, but it gives you questions that are open-ended. And I've got some examples for you that I'm going to give at the end so that you can write them down, maybe put them on cards by people's plates. That's one idea too, is actually have a place setting that has questions. And then everybody gets to ask the questions. And if they say, oh, that's a stupid question, say, well, just make yours up. Come back with a question that is not a yes or no question. And, just have fun with it. I think that there's one of the cards in our deck of cards too, in our Aging Beautifully, is don't take it all too seriously. I love that card because it just says, life is stressful. We've got people in our family around the table who don't agree at all with us, and it may be quite intense. But don't take it so seriously. At the holidays, just let it go a little bit, and the good connection that can happen through conversation. I'm a huge believer in words and the power of words. So I think that the bottom line here is people like to be asked questions. So, oh, my turn. Okay, what question do you have for me? People like to be asked a question, and they also like to be heard. So when they have an answer to the question, everyone needs to kind of agree that they're going to pay attention. So when you're having, eating a meal and then you take a break to say, ask a question, put your forks down, everybody listen to the question, the answer. And then for even one question, you can just let it go. Everybody can answer the same question. So some of the questions I've got for you here are like that. They're ones that as soon as one person answers them, everybody else says, oh, but I have something to say about that too. And then you'll be there for hopefully a while, enjoying the dinner, and then move from the dinner to the living room or the kitchen or whatever to just continue conversation. Yes, the meal is important and all that that matters. But here's some ideas. So Thanksgiving, for example, is all about gratitude, right? So being thankful. So if it's a Thanksgiving dinner, you can ask the question, what are you grateful for this year? And then somebody will answer that question. And it's a nice question. Or tell us something that you're grateful about the person that's sitting opposite you. And then they have to think of something that they're grateful for about that person. Oh, I'm really grateful because they call me up, or they listen to me, or they're really smart at this, or they have this ability, whatever. They will think of something. Another thing is to say, if you could invite anyone to Thanksgiving dinner, who would you invite? And why is always the good one to tag on to that. And then if it's the Christmas holidays or New Year's or whatever you celebrate over that period of time, you could ask the question like, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? And that has to be, and why? So not just Paris. It's got to be why. So where would you like to live in the world and why? You could actually do something kind of fun, like what was the scariest thing you ever did, in your life or this year? What was the scariest thing you ever did? Or what was the most embarrassing thing you did this year? Or what was the most exciting thing that you did this year? Bring us up to speed on what you did this year that was really fun and exciting. Where did you travel? Where did you go this year that was really cool? And then the other thing, like you might, if it was, the meal was being discussed, you could say, well, what's your favorite dish that you like to prepare? What's your favorite dish and how do you do it? So those are the types of questions that are practical questions. And I think the one that I like the most, if this is like for an older generation of people, or if they've got older people at the table, ask them, where would you want to be in 5 years? What do you want to be doing in 5 years? And that question applies to people of all age groups. So that's a really, really good question, just to say, where do you want to be in 5 years from now? You will be surprised the kinds of conversations that you can get going just by asking even just one of those questions, or two or three. It's like getting around the table is one thing, but don't let the food, alcohol, politics, the whole dynamic of the situation turn it into something that you'll feel it wasn't complete. Do something positive to make it fun. So I hope that you found this useful. I mean, what was the last time you had a great celebration with your family or friends? What was the last time you had a celebration, and what did you do together that made it so special? And then maybe you want to share what you've got going on this holiday season. But whatever it is, we value the conversation and appreciate you taking part in this dialogue, and hope that you have a fabulous holiday, whatever you decide to do or however it plays out in the real world. We are here to support you. So take very good care, everybody. Have a fabulous day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye bye for now.